What's up guys, Justin here of Tech, and in this video, let's dive deeper into the overall performance and features of this Redmi Note 9 Pro. What we have here is the global version, so expect it to also be the one retailing in the Philippines. Now quickly, the difference between the global version to the one available in India are the specs upgrades that may not be that big but still make a difference. So instead of a 48 megapixel main camera, we get a 64 megapixel one, and while the India version gets 4GB of RAM and 18 watts fast charging, the global version gets a generous 6GB of RAM and 30 watts fast charging. Generally, the Note 9 Pro that we'll get is the Pro Max version in India. Now that's all clear, let's start the review. Probably the first thing you'll notice is that it looks similar to the Note 9S. And there's really no physical difference even with the size. Either way, we're not complaining. We do like this new approach to the Redmi Note series. It's sleek and premium looking with a glass back sealed with Gorilla Glass 5 and that square camera module. Underneath that are its LED flash and some Redmi branding. Holding the phone, there's a heft to it, but it's not really bothersome and it's still easy to grip with its curved edges. I only get tendencies to slip the phone when not placed on steady flat surfaces due to its glass back, so better put a case on. What we have here is in the Glacier white color, but you can also opt for the Interstellar gray and Tropical green variants. On the right are its volume rocker and a power button that doubles as a fingerprint scanner. They're pretty tactile to click and the fingerprint scanner works snappy for instant unlocking. Meanwhile, on the left you'll find its triple card slot for 2 nano SIM cards and a micro SD card that's expandable up to 512GB. Up top are a secondary microphone and an IR blaster, while at the bottom you'll find its loudspeaker, main microphone, USB Type-C port, and yes, a headphone jack. Moving on to display, we get a 6.67-inch IPS LCD dot display with a resolution of 2400 by 1080 pixels and a pixel density of 365 ppi. It's also protected with Gorilla Glass 5 plus a pre-installed screen protector that's always nice to see. Of course, you won't miss that punch hole on the upper center of the screen for its front camera, and you can always turn this off in the settings if it bothers you. On top of that, you'll find a call speaker and a tiny notification indicator. As for display quality, like most phones nowadays, you can adjust the color settings as to what your eyes prefer. Considering that this is not an AMOLED panel, the blacks aren't as deep as we'd expect them to be. But nonetheless, we still get good and bright color reproduction. The same goes for outdoor visibility. Even at 80% brightness, you can still see the display clearly under direct sunlight. Audio-wise, the single downward firing speaker can be loud enough for a small room. It's not the best, but we get good sound separation and it doesn't get too distorted when we put the volume to max. Moving to performance, powering the Redmi Note 9 Pro is a Qualcomm Snapdragon 720G paired with an Adreno 618 GPU. And as mentioned earlier, we also get 6GB of RAM and 64 or 128GB of internal storage. The Snapdragon 720G is a really good mid-range chip. When it comes to day-to-day tasks such as navigating, texting, calling, social media browsing, and video streaming, the Note 9 Pro serves a smooth performance with just a few rare hiccups when too many apps are running in the background. Gaming-wise, this one can manage graphics-heavy games without any lags. We played PUBG and Call of Duty Mobile on it, and we did encounter some heating but not to an alarming hot level. For some numbers, take a look at the benchmark scores we got. When it comes to security, its face unlock responds right away most of the time. But of course, the fingerprint scanner gets ahead as it's already on the power button. Alright, now let's talk about software. The Redmi Note 9 Pro runs on Android 10 skinned with MIUI 11. Considering that Xiaomi is a Chinese brand, it's proud to say that it has Google services on board, that they even embossed it to their latest packaging now. And I'm pretty sure we all know why. So yeah, expect some pre-installed Google apps as well as Xiaomi's own apps and a few games that I'm not sure if you'll really play, but it's there and you can always delete them if you want. There's an app drawer option for the home screen, and its AI tries to categorize apps according to their use besides the alphabetical structure. Now MIUI is far from a stock Android experience, but we like how clean and simple it looks. We just don't like how it has a lot of ad suggestions natively, but you can turn it off as well in the settings. Other features include its dark mode, VR view comfortability, one-handed mode, game turbo, second space, and a full screen display option if you want to fully navigate with gestures. Now, keeping this phone running is a massive 5020 mAh battery with 30 watts fast charging. And for some of you who may be wondering, yes, we do get a 33-watt charger included in the box. We ran it through our standard video loop test, wherein we keep a 1080 video playing on loop under 50% brightness, 50% volume, and airplane mode turned on, and the Note 9 Pro got a total of 18 hours and 12 minutes. We did expect more, but it will really depend on how you use the device. In my experience, it lasted me a whole day with light usage and a few gaming. As for charging, it took us almost an hour and a half to fully juice up from 0 to full 100. For cameras, at the back, we get a quadruple setup composed of a 64-megapixel main, an 8-megapixel ultra-wide, a 5-megapixel macro lens, and a 2-megapixel depth sensor. For selfies, we get a 16-megapixel front camera. Talk about photo quality, you can expect sharp photos with good colors in well-lit scenarios, even when you're not using the highest photo settings. But of course, we do get more details with the 64-megapixel lens, as you can see here. We found the wide-angle option more useful since it doesn't create an obvious fisheye effect and the colors are as good as in standard mode. It also works well with portrait mode as we get some clear subject-background separation that can be adjusted in post. Also, notice how clean and subtle its HDR performs in most cases. When it comes to night shots, here's a reference when the night mode is turned off. It's grainy and we don't get many details, especially with the wide-angle camera. But when you trigger night mode on, it works well as we get less noise and more light without making the photo look washed. Now, selfies look decent too, especially under good lighting conditions, but sometimes it looks washed and more saturated. As for videos, you can shoot up to 4K at 30 frames per second, and we recommend that you get a monopod or a gimbal to get steady shots since stabilization isn't completely great. One bonus feature that the Note 9 Pro acquired from the Note 8 Pro is its capability to shoot videos using the macro lens. It might come in handy. Okay, let's finally move on to price. The Xiaomi Redmi Note 9 Pro is available in two options. The 6GB of RAM plus 64GB of internal storage is priced at 12,490 pesos, while the 6GB of RAM plus 128GB of internal storage option is available for 13,990 pesos. This phone offers decent cameras and a modest IPS display in a sleek and robust form factor. It's not far from its predecessor, but we do get a more improved lag-free performance with reliable battery life. Of course, there's some competition today in this price range, but the Redmi Note series definitely hasn't lost its game. For its price, consider this another bang for your buck smartphone. And that's it for our review. How about you guys? What do you think of this Redmi Note 9 Pro? Did you get your hands on one already? We always appreciate seeing your comments. And if you enjoyed this video, be sure to drop us a like, subscribe to our channel for more content, hit that bell icon so you don't miss any future uploads, and be sure to visit gigatech.com for the latest tech news and reviews. Once again, this is Justin, and don't forget to wash your hands and stay at home.